Good afternoon, everyone. Like I said, we were going to be in the kitchen today, just had a long drive. I am back. Again, it's kitchen time. I am in the kitchen. However, everything is back here if you look that way, or frozen. So they will be thawed out and they will be cooked today for the week. Let's have a conversation. Okay. I like to talk about our country. How do we move forward? You know, and when one writes, I urge you all to please look beyond what is on social media or where somebody posts and look beyond that and think for yourself. Think deeply. Okay. This week, first, let me start by saying thank you to our maker and to our ancestor. We had a rough week. Thank God for his divine intervention, per se, that I'm even on this platform talking to you. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for life and the life of my loved ones. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. I'm trying to find my other phone so I will share, but not sure where that is. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. Okay. Um, I'm starting here. So I'm going to share a little bit and then we will take that from here. So, most of you come under my post and not even knowing where I come from. Don't want to know where I come from in sense of history, my work, my journey here. You look at today, like the people that you actually just encountering today, and you're thinking everybody's running over here for job. And I keep telling the people in Liberia, when I'm ready to ask the Liberian people to represent them or to work for them, I will go directly to them and they will decide as to what they want to do. But my work span 40 some more years. Okay. So I want to play this video. This video is from 2014 during the Ebola as we throw light on what was happening in our country as a nation. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video right here for you so you can see. This is actually me. This is Miara. This is Pastor Kennedy. This is 11 years today. Okay, 11 years ago, more than 11 years ago, but this was in June. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. There we go.
Hit countries with the Ebola virus. I think one of you were telling me earlier over almost 1,000 victims. What we're learning is that Liberia has over 2,000 hit at this point. We have CDC that just landed in Liberia to help
And folks,
out.
that's me speaking.
But the Monrovia that is really hit is very congested. We have our population is 4 million, and we have a third of the population living in Monrovia. So it makes it very difficult. And people say have cultural belief who believe that this is a witchcraft, whereas it's not. What I believe is it's time for us to return to Bethel. It's time for the Liberian people to return to Bethel because we experienced 14 years of war. We prayed and we fasted and we prayed, and God came to our rescue. Now, we promised that we would stay in God's confines, but I think we're worse than we've been before. Now that we're here, we need to get help for the people. We're first generation Americans, second generation Americans, we're Liberians. And there are a lot of us here. We're your neighbors, we're your Christian brothers and sisters, we're your co-workers. Yes. So we're asking, and we'll also say thank you to Dr. Brentley and Mrs. Nancy Right for their sacrifice. We're supposed to be our brother's keeper. One may say that Liberia is far. It's not. No, Liberia is in your backyard. Liberia is 8 hours of plane ride away. Yes. You have people doing business in Liberia who fly on the flight in the morning and come back home the next day. Yes. So they're your neighbors also. Absolutely. And it's important to note that because I think when individuals sit in Atlanta or Atlanta metropolitan, they say, well, Africa is a continent that's thousands of miles away.
My people, y'all hello.
To be one of the hardest hit countries with the Ebola virus. I think one of you were telling.
Okay. And again, all the tip is
How you
right
coming
here.
on? Yeah.
I do
So we
have
stay
the
on the story. This is the patrie aspect, right?
I don't
So
know.
the particular story now,
Don't give me one
a
second.
close friend of the late Morris. Hmm? Can me explain how Morris started?
Okay. So that video is 11 years ago. Let me stop this. It's 11 years ago. That's me. That's me. You're sending Martin Paye, me, the younger version of me. Okay. That's me right there. I was just talking. I want you to know that. So when you come on my platform and you talk about numbers, when you talk about this, this is a national and international platform. Okay. So 11 years ago, I was out here when most of you were nowhere advocating for our country, for the life of our country. Not just life, but its country is about the lives and livelihood of our people. When the people that you've elected, when the people that you've assigned position to make policies that will impact the nation, okay, when most of them were running away from the nation, okay, I was out here with my team, with people who support Liberia. That was Pastor Kennedy on that platform. Thank God for electronics. Thank God for those who thought long time ago to create what we call today digital network. Okay. Today this just showed up on my timeline, and I decided I was going to play it today as a reminder and to also encourage me, okay, as someone who has stood up, okay, all this while for the betterment of the nation, to not give up on my people. And that today was just, it came in handy, sort of kind of to speak. Please, those of you who have logged in, help me share, my platform. I'm still building. The other one, what happened. I had to have my ID, everything turn in, so this one can be functional per se. So that was me on Georgia channel 57. Okay. I also made rounds on CNNBC and NPR. NPR is kind of like a bigger American kind of TV station. So when the people who just came yesterday saw themselves on TV in America or anywhere and they're yelling, oh, I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you. One thing that I've learned is that popularity is a perishable goods, especially when you come from a nation that people practice situational ethics and people have selective amnesia. Okay. And I tell you what, those does not build a nation. A nation that will progress must have, okay, a standard of morality, a standard of law that applies to everyone. It does not matter the age, it does not matter the experience. That if you say the law is the law, like the people in the days of Moses would say, thou should not lie. They mean that. Thou should not cover thy neighbor. They mean that. Eye for an eye, then they meant that. That was the standard of morality. And it did not matter if you were the prophet. Okay? It did not matter. Yes, Jesus came, even with a beatitude. He said, blessed are, blessed are, blessed are. That's what Jesus said. No, you already know. The only person that I Yacindy Martin fear, is God. Beyond God, I don't fear nobody. Ask my family, they will tell you that. I do not fear anyone besides God. I speak my truth to people. I speak it with respect, with humility, but I let you know where I stand. Okay. So I came to talk to you briefly. It's Saturday. We will be here tomorrow, Peter and I. Please have me share the video. I can't find my other stuff that I can use to share my stuff on. If you're on Facebook, please follow me on this page. I would appreciate it. I'm trying to get it to share so everybody can be on that page, because when I come and use it, for some reason, I don't know what they did with this, how you call it, when I use the StreamYard on my regular page, it does not um, come up like it should. So, but that's fine. We can build again. I'm also on YouTube. So when I finish, I will pull this and put it on YouTube. In that light, I'm able to keep the YouTube up because with a new Facebook, it's not holding up. Okay, it's not holding up. After 30 days, they remove it. So I don't know what I need to do. I do have a few business registered. I didn't want to register this one because I have the Movement for Justice and I have the what do you call it, the Oxygen Project, which I will be changing it to my particular foundation, just a project, because we like knee attachment. Just if tomorrow comes, maybe my babies can take it over. So yes, that's what I'm gonna do. Now, yeah, how I go. I'm gonna play this video, and some of you will not like it, but that is okay with me. That's how I stay. This week something happened, and I want to yell out to that it can say send a shout out to Rufus Berry, okay, Mars, Mrs. Greer. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I want to send a shout out to her and a few Liberians who stood up to speak truth, to stability, to fact. Okay. I made a post this morning about a girl who there was somebody they said from Nigeria, from Liberia, which really does not matter to me. I was responding to a post that was made by one of my children in Rwanda yesterday. And my post was about it was about the young men that were involved in the fight yesterday with the police. And the young man wrote that this young man was born in 2004. He will be either 20 or 21, depending on what time of the year he was born. So for me, that is a child. For me, that child should be either in school, in technical school, or in college. That child should be out there hanging out with his friends after school, after training, planning his future and studying. I do not think he needs to be out there in the Texas. Look, folks, let me tell you something. I don't know about y'all, but when I speak based on history. I speak based on ethics. I speak based on knowledge of self and the country for which we come from or in which we come from. Now, Dr. Emmanuel Dolo, who is my brotherly lady, go to focus on Liberia. Yes, I will say this. I know they came on how you call it. I started focus on Liberia. If you go to the regional name, it's registered in my name. I was president for the community and I was transitioning because I didn't want to be into politics anymore at the time. I wanted to stay in advocacy. So I decided I would create a platform and then we speak from there. I was the producer because I wanted it to be my idea, the show. So I wanted to sit in the back every night. Then I would sit up and have a conversation. And I reached out to Dr. Emmanuel Dolo because that's my brother. He would come, his friends would come here, Liberian minister and all of that would come here to the house and we'll be having this conversation. Or I will go home and I'll be in his house, we'll be having conversation as to how many young children were in jail in Liberia. And those children weren't getting justice. Some of them have been there years, some of them have been there months. Most of them didn't even qualify to be sitting in jail amongst adults. Most of those children were riding keke rider. And people in the position of power, including government officials, will buy these keke and give it to them to drive. Okay. And if something happened, either they got robbed or they didn't turn in the money that were intended for them to turn in, the people there, since the new people, they will call people. They will take these children, they will put them in jail. Anybody want the YouTube video, please let me know. I will send it to you. And when the children go to jail, these people, these men in Liberia were using these boys, okay, in jail. So most of them body was shocked, okay. As Dr. Emmanuel Dolo, and that was one of the reasons, was doing research as the youth advisor to the president, okay. And I will post that video. Y'all listen to it, okay. And most of those kids, when they eventually when they come out, they become predators themselves because there are no psychological help for them. You take a young man, you put him in jail, he's molested, he come out wounded, and he's going around wounding people. Okay, that's the same that go hurting people, hurt people. Okay, and so he spoke about it. He spoke about it. I will play maybe a shot of it so you people can hear. So when I hear Liberian and police stop with story, I just don't go and start going off on people. I don't. I always find out what is the cause. Liberians should always ask this question. You know, yesterday people were yelling and carrying on. This boy beat the police. I saw it from different angle. As a mother, okay, as a woman who interfaces with teenagers every day, year in, year out, literally, okay, I saw the anger in that young man. And I saw the desperation in that young man, okay? Y'all think about this. Because first, I saw the car turn upside down on the side. And when the people came and lifted the car, the man was still holding onto that young man close. And that's why he got really mad. Somebody could have gotten hurt badly or would have died. Okay? Whatever it was, in my opinion, it was not that serious. To take a life or to give your life for. It was not. All right? That my second point. For the first thing we say police brutality or citizen brutality. What happened leading to that? Police can be wrong. Yes, police shoot in America because that's the thing. The thing with Liberia, anytime something bad happens, we say, and this can happen in Europe, and it can happen in America. That's true. We do investigate. Depending on who you kill, okay, or I'm sorry, who you are alive, you may go to jail, or you may get probation, or the judgment will be different. If you come from an affluent family, and it's everywhere, but majority of the time, if it's clear and present, you will get convicted. We are convicted police. Anywhere you go, it's a work, a work in process because we're human. It does not matter your color. It does not matter your country. The problem with our country is the bad is more prevalent than the good. For instance, unemployment, 90%. But you spend 90% of your budget on giving it to people that you hire to work for you. For your lawmakers to come to you, you got to pay them to come to you. Although they're supposed to be living with you. They're supposed to be interfacing with you. They're supposed to be with you if that every other Sunday or whatever. If they're planning the next year fiscal calendar, they need to let you know where they're planning because they're planning on your behalf. And they need your input. That's what democracy is about. Democracy is ruled by the people, not by individual. Okay? And government set social norm and social structure, whether you like it or not. What separates you and majority of you, like me and myself? I'm a moral woman. I'm not situational in what I believe. Okay? Ask Dr. Richardson. They have been, I don't have to come. Most of you know, before you got to know me, you used to come on Facebook and insult. And I always say, I wish George Weah had listened to my craziness or my negativity at the time with negativity. But everything that I said, or majority of what I said, came to pass. The people are fooling you. You are not listening to the Liberian people. You are not doing the work. We will want to come on here and say, George, we are doing this, we're doing that. That may be true. But you know how many people lost their lives? Some of the best brains we have in the country. Matthew Innes, the biggest name we can remember. First, Matthew Innes. Balakoli. And the list goes on. The three missing boys. See, Moses is still operating in the country as we speak. When the people promise, so when they come, they were going to move Moses. They were going to investigate. Maybe they will investigate. They will start investigating 2 years to election to make it look like, because they know we are stupid. That's why the president said these are not my words, unquote. Because for us Liberians, the lie is more seductive than the truth, because the truth can't make it. For me, I will speak the truth to you. So I come back. Situational ethics does not build any nation, have not built any nation. You see, you are in the 14th, the 13th, the 7th century time, the 16th century. You are in the days of Caligula and Machiavellian. That's where your mind is, okay? Where you rule by fear, where you rule by manipulation. That's where it is. You know what Caligula used to do? Put the people on the pole to make the people scared. You can't talk because you know when you talk that your hair will be out there. Okay? Machiavellian used lies. He said the people didn't want to know the truth. They don't care about the truth. They like to be entertained. They like to feel good. So you give them, you wear the mask. That's what Liberians like. I'm the one who talking. Okay? I show you on me and I will continue to talk. I'm not your today advocate, so it does not matter to me where you think. Where you think is on you. Regardless, I will get up in the morning, I will go to work. God has been good to me. Especially this week. Especially this week. God has been exceptionally good to me. But right now, I would have been in my bed, tears rolling down my eyes, my family in the shock. But guess what? His mercy is renewed every morning. And thank God for America. Thank God for some of the doctors in America. Okay? Thank God. Thank God. But we will get testimony at another time when all is done. That's how I see it. And that's how I'm even able to come and stand here and talk to you today. Because the week have been rough. Only God, family, professionalism, or knowledge. Knowledge. Any nation that does not value knowledge, that nation is not ready to develop. Any nation that does not value education, that nation cannot compete, is not going anywhere. Any nation that does not set value and standard of morality, that nation is an upside down nation. You see our country? Somebody came on my post today and said, why you don't say something about America? You don't say something about Donald Trump. And somebody said, oh, she said something about Donald Trump. She will not have a job. I'm a professional woman. I've been working. I come from different background, different training, different discipline per se. So I'm not stuck on stupid or one place. Okay. I have a diverse background. Maybe most of you don't know that. You see a pretty face. That's it. And it's a female. That's what you see. Okay. So I come back again to our thought process as people, as a nation. Now, I was here, and I see Liberians going off on Dr. Richardson. Let me say to you again, and I make no apology, absolutely no apology. I always told you people, I'm not going to allow people to use their gender to monopolize the conversation or what we regard as morality. If I hold men accountable, I will hold women accountable. Let the woman be in the right, then we will all fight for that woman. Jackie is rude. She has always been rude. She has always been disrespectful. I don't care who come and write fine letter and can't say this. We are situational. When your family people, okay, are looting the country, they don't want to talk about it. but you want to come out and be a moral campus or a moral czar or a moral hero. You are not. Let me say to the Kanga family, all of y'all, your sister over there, y'all stole your pa, y'all stole our money. I think it was last year, and give it to your pa who's supposed to be a pastor. Okay, $10,000 as the Liberian people were struggling. He accepted it. Okay, from our coffers. That's illegal. That's immoral. That's unethical. So for you sister to come sit down on Facebook and say, "Oh, I'm recalling," that's the only part I heard, and I turned it off because it's not somebody. It's not somebody I want to listen to. It's all noise. Your whole freaking family, is on the government payroll. If they're not on board, they're in administrative work. There's some of them sitting right here in America and getting paid. You're living off of the Liberian people. You don't have no moral turpitude to speak to anything that has to do with morality. I don't care. Listen, I'm not speaking on behalf of Dr. Richardson. I'm speaking for myself, what I know to be true. So you're like, send you people out to cost. Like I say, your pa, you're giving 10,000 of our money. It's not your place to donate our money to your purchase. No ethical person would even have considered that, and your pass by you. She get what? 60, 70,000 for scholarship. Let me tell you something, like when people, my own encounter. One of the children that we support in Rwanda 3 years ago, one of the people where our taxes that normally is building in because she liked her people, because that's what they do. We give them the money, they put that money in the budget where they give the scholarship. It's not the country that giving scholarship. So those children, the young people or whoever they send, they're beholden to them. So they protect them. You can't say nothing about them. They come cussing. Y'all call them. I'm talking and I don't give a fuck who you are. I want you to listen up. And this boy, the young man, they went out and the young men were talking about what was happening in Liberia. By the mention of this woman's name, okay, apparently the little boy had been advocating and saying what was happening in Liberia was wrong. This boy took knife or glass bottle, and guess this young man. Maybe in the coming days, I will show it to y'all. Okay. So the boy tried to reach out to her because that's the people on her scholarship. In Rwanda, they don't play. When he reached out to me, Peter and I told him, let the police people take him because he was going to go in jail. After jail, they were going to deport. After he paid his time, they were going to deport him. But waiting for pre-trial, he was in jail. The boy tried to reach out to him. She wouldn't answer her phone, but she brought him back. The only way, because the boy needed, I think, $150 for him to get stitches because this boy gets this boy here, catching all over here. She telling the boy, for her to pay for the stitches for the boy to go to the hospital, he must first withdraw the case. I told the young man, I said, no. Peter and I put the money together and sent it. Then I reached out to her. She never answered her phone until I came on Facebook Live and called her out. Then she contacted the young man. Okay? And you have the audacity, okay, to speak up because somebody called somebody stupid. She asked a stupid question. She's rude and disrespectful. Okay? That's how I see it. Listen, you don't get a pass for being rude and disrespectful or asking stupid questions, okay? Because you support the sitting government or the people on your side are more, or because you are female. If you are female, you respect yourself. Let somebody try to disrespect you, then we will come for that person. That's how I see it. All right. So let me continue with this. My name is Yasini Martin Peye, and like I tell y'all, when I die one day, my eyes, here, Mohammed, will be closed. And I know when I die, God will accept me because my heart is clear. I speak my truth and I live it, and I live within certain confines. What is this? How we got here? Oh my God, this is not Talk Liberia, folks. Look why you did me wrong here, though. This is not Talk Liberia, sweetheart. Okay. That was Lofa Interventions Edith today. Okay. Now, I see young sister sitting on Facebook, try to argue you're ethical. Your family is not ethical. Come for me. I don't care. I remember when George we first took over, and I tried to give recommendations, brought people on to take his girlfriend, then his people, then started attacking me. They call my family dysfunctional. And people thought I was going to come out and be mad. And I said, but that's true. I come from a dysfunctional family. The word Liberia within itself is synonymous with dysfunction and impunity and immorality, okay? And lack of consciousness. So where you point? Obi was pissed because they were touching his name, my sister. And he had a picture of this girl, a naked picture of this girl. He decided he would post it. I called him and said, Obi, take that down. I stand for women. If you post one naked woman picture, you post my picture. So please take it down. We can take care of this. Should I say anything big? My sister and my family, she was causing all of them voted for him. So it didn't matter to me. This is what I'm speaking to. So somebody like you, your family ain't got no room to talk. Okay? We can go back to your days of being rebel bride and all of that. You ain't got no room to talk. And I don't give a fig where anybody think. Me, and I will not use profanity. I will speak my truth. That's how I see it. And somebody will say, you attack a woman. I'm speaking the truth. That's not on the top. The truth is not on the top. You will not hear me using profanity, but I will speak the truth. Okay? Jackie needed to be checked. Jackie needed to be checked. We needed to have started that a long time ago because cynical people do not understand civility. Bully do not understand civility. Every time you scoot over for a bully, they consider you as you fear them, or you're less, or you will not challenge them. Every time you scoot over for a bully. But let me come to this point with you. There is no way Liberian people in hell, okay? There's no way in hell or in heaven. You are advocating your VP, Jeremiah Kuhn, that is all over the place because I know his story. I know his story because you say you married, you used to sleep with my little cousin. I know that too. All right? And plenty of them too. So you're talking about morality. The morality is on your faces or it's selective. Is that the problem? Now, Jeremiah Kuhn calls this fake up. That's how immoral and situational you people are. Call this Marco Zar, that way I would call him, who sits on platform and analyze women anatomy. That's how he eats. That's how he sleeps. Okay? Call him to come to a campaign and give a speech. Then he lied straight face. You know, when Boaka said Liberian people are stupid, they know we're stupid because they see stupid in our face. Because we see the truth. And that's because the truth, we will have to deal with it. We have to acknowledge it. We don't want to acknowledge the truth. We don't want to speak to the truth. We don't want to deal with the truth. So guess what? We like the lie because we can dance with it. We like the lies because then we don't have to think. We like the lies because then we don't have to feel bad about our situation. So we like the lies. It keeps us entertained. It keeps us going for each other. Okay? That's where we are living. That's the life that we are living. But I'm going to play a small video here for all of us to listen up. Where the Lutheran pastor during the days of Hitler, because when they started small. Okay? You people have the nerve to call somebody out for calling somebody out who have been disrespectful continuously, have been a bully, a hypocrite, okay? Who will sit and undermine and I will call her agent provocateur per se, because she's looking for a job again. They all switch back and forth. That's the only place that they can do. They move back and forth, back and forth. They're every government. They want to be in every government, okay? These are the same people who stayed on platform and say, everybody can work for government, but you might work for government, or you pa work for government, or both work for government. Your husband work for government. Your wife work for government. Your nieces, your nephew working for government. But then you say everybody can work for government. When we follow through and do research on your claim to fame, your who among who status, you gain it for the national coffers. But now, you a moral George to can't say what. So what I said from the beginning, I didn't mess my words and I didn't bite my tongue. Dr. Richardson, they bring it to you. Take your time. Let them have it. And some people say, oh, Dr. Richardson had an outburst. No, I've known Dr. Richardson for years. Not on Facebook. She didn't have an outburst. It was coming. And some of us on the same platform who were saying, oh, Dr. Richardson just said there, she don't talk. All of a sudden, we are moral judges because she spoke. She didn't speak when you wanted her to speak. She didn't speak on your behalf. She spoke on her behalf or on somebody else's behalf. So all of a sudden, you got morals. Some of you, I know y'all. I know y'all. I dealt with y'all. I dealt with y'all. Listen, folks, I have done this for 43 years. And somebody said, what do you have? It was not for me to get anything. It was for humanity. If my goal was to get a job, ask the UP people who are costing me. Most of them told me, don't support anybody, just stand down, yeah. You're smart, you're educated, you're one of the most educated Liberian women. You can have any job you want. Me and Papa Boaka, y'all who just come here around Papa Boaka, that my auntie, that my uncle, that my grandpa. I've known Papa Boaka for years. Hang out with him, dine with him, okay? Supported him at some point. So, I started the conversation saying popularity is a perishable goods. One thing that will not perish with me is my morality, the things that I believe in, my standard of belief, and the things that I fear. I have no intention of leveraging it just to survive. I'm good. I'm good. Our born with land that what my parents have. We have no money. We ate of the land. My grandparents sold where they planted from sweat, sold it to send their sons to school. So I understand the dignity of labor. I told you before, I now watch birds. I used to throw slingshot, rubber gun, bullet. Anybody who knew me as a teenager on the old road, I think I was the only girl on the old road riding roller skate. Getting on the roller skate from old road all the way to Crown Hill. Yes, me, on the back of a taxi. People used to come out to watch me. Sometimes we drive to the airfield and perform. So I've never been your everyday Liberian woman. I've spoken up my whole life. So I'm not waiting for your approval. I'm not waiting for this platform. Before there was the spoon and this, that, we had the panelist star. That was my innovation. But as Liberian, we build, we leave, people get busy, people move, but I'm still here. I am still here. I was here on Facebook when we were using OBS, when there were no Facebook Live. Their Facebook Live, we use it. When most Liberians, they didn't have Facebook or digital form. We came here every Saturday. Emre Nicole, Hawa Menta, Duke JJ, what do you call it? Steve Boley, Brazilian Monk, you name them. George Wallace, okay? Dr. Richardson. We will come here, folks, and send young people and rent speaker in Liberia. We send a laptop to Liberia to go from community to community to teach civic. So I'm not doing this for me. America has been good to me. I'm married to a good man, smart, educated. My children are doing their own productive struggle. My last baby is off to college. How much more can I ask for? If I should fall down today and die, my kids will be fine. I have insurance all over the. Listen, I'm not your typical Liberian who think I'm not going to die. You can die whenever. And at my age, I'm not a kid. If something happened to me today, nobody will say, oh, a child died. I'm a full-blown woman, almost 60 years old, with grandchildren. How blessed I am. And I believe the Lord have blessed me for standing up for other people. Why won't I want to continue to speak up? People say, yes, maybe just start speaking up. So no. That's not it. It's not going to be that way. So the very people who invited the cussing man, women cussing, dissecting women anonymous on Facebook, how he lived, how he survived, the same people are on Facebook because somebody called somebody stupid. Can you imagine? The vice president, who his friend that he hired to his hospital, that have been murdering people, okay? The moment he was identified, they took him out of the country, has the moral to talk. The president who sat on the stand, put his hand on the Bible, lie and disown his friend. That Peter, more than 3 times, he's the one that has the moral. Are you guys serious? And you're coming to can't go off. You're the same one who advocating for this unstable, arrogant, ungrateful, situational man all over the place. And now you're comparing him to Nathaniel McGill. Liberians, why? Why should we always settle? Why can't we look for the best among us, not just intellectually, but morally? People who have the turpitude. It is the leadership. It is the government responsibility for a nation's social structure. Most of you who write plenty and write big book, me, I don't like big book. In America, I learned you speak book that is tailored to your field. If we were people in your field, I'm trying to be as simple as possible. Okay? I'm trying to be as simple as possible. Okay? And that's what I believe. So in the United States, Obama is one of the best orators ever. Okay? A lawyer. A law review president. He speaks at 5th grade level. How about you who come from a nation where majority can read at 8th grade level? Or you want to kind of say some words that don't even make sense, that have to go find ChatGPT or some kind of electronic dictionary to give me definition and synonym. That's the problem. So let's talk about situational amnesia. You don't remember Mo Ali yesterday harassing, intimidating a young lady to abort her pregnancy. Oh, you didn't have outrage? I spoke up. A few people spoke up. You didn't speak because it was the right person and Dr. Richardson was the wrong person. That's my issue. She was not the right person. Just as George Weah was not the right person when he and his people were stealing, at least your thought. Okay? And I believe that too. When Stemura, what you call it then, were creating shell company and building themselves apartment complexes, they were the wrong people. They were not the right people. Now the right people are there. You can't say anything. People come to insult you. That's the problem. Liberia is not going to change with those kind of mentality. Liberia will not change with those kind of mindset. Liberia will not change with those kind of morality, situational. Liberia will not change if this is the way we're going to live. You and myself will die. And you know what? Confusion's there. The strength of the nation, okay, depends on the integrity of the home. The home, the family, It's the nuclear of any society. The nuclear of any society is the family unit. It is the home. What is the home in this case? When confusion is talking about the father and the son relationship. Confusion is talking about the leadership and the people. If the leaders are corrupt, the people are going to be corrupt. Okay? If the people are immoral, the people will be immoral because they must survive. That's how we are made. Survivor the fittest. You know what separates us and keep some sort of humanity? Laws. Most nations, the leaders set the standard also besides the government, okay? If the leader of your nation, even the Bible speak about it. When a man who fears God or a godly man rules, the people will prosper. See our country. You have a president who came out and said certain people genetically, they were born to be this way. Other leaders have to come and add their voice. When you have a president sit on the pulpit or on the stuff and say, Liberians are rude, they're untrained, they're this, they're that. Some of them don't know what they are doing, and they just talk. That is true. That Sando, I don't know what you need, Daniel Sando. That is true to some degree. But you can speak to that person. You put them in the position. You don't have to bundle us. The same president. Now they say he's coming to America. I see people calling me, I'm about to go to war. The same man where when they were talking about deporting Liberia and say he was making fun out of us. Now he has an agenda, and on that agenda, he wants the people, the diaspora, the international community to underwrite 75% of his agenda. Now he coming to it. Listen, me, when I was growing up, my mom always used to say, hey, honorable, my mom always used to say, when people start by respecting people, give them absolute respect, but never compromise your dignity. They disrespect you, disrespect them. I don't care where you are. You see, when y'all talk about God said, follow your leader, God said that leader must be in God. That leader should be under the watchful eye of God. He must be in the confines of God, okay? Not in a ruthless person. And you see how big Goliath was? He was a leader. He was a general. David was just a kid, a shepherd, a little boy. You saw how he disgraced him? When you see and say, God said, do not do this to my leader, my prophet, and do my prophet this and that. Those are all brainwashing and intimidation. If you are not, if I see, because the Bible says, by the fruit you should know, I will not honor you. I'm sorry. I've learned, I don't know, most of you know this, because I teach history, I teach science. And because I teach history, I have to learn biblical history, religion, not just biblical, religious history. From Africa to Southwest Asia, to Southeastern Asia, to Australia, to Europe, I have to learn them. And everything, things change, I stay abreast. So no, I'm not your typical talking head. And another thing, my husband is a man of God. That's not how we eat, though. He's an engineer. Okay? So no, dear, you don't intimidate me. I don't need you for my blessing. I fear no man but God. I respect men. I respect leaders who are under the banner of the Lord, who live within the confines of the Lord, who are leader of the people. That's what I respect. So let's go back. You cannot be selective. Okay? You can't. So when I said what I said, Dr. Richardson, y'all will not bring that nonsense to her. And you people are situational. Just 2 weeks ago, on that same platform, a man look at another man and call his name. Oh, there was no outrage. Could change his name. How he sleeps with other, people. There was no outrage. That platform, people sit there and insult whenever they want to. You can't be situational. You are not a moral person to speak up. If you're speaking up, you're being fake. You're performing for the numbers. You're performing to be like. I'm the one who says, I don't care. You can come at me. I say so. And I say this to the Kanga family, especially a Nyamli sister that made a video the other day. Most of you don't know. Dr. Francine is the mother to my nieces. You'll get that straight. All right? If she does wrong, I will have it up. If she defend herself, I will stand with her. And that's for anybody. I stood for you. I stood for you 2014 during the Ebola, when you lost all hope. When your government was hiding the Ebola because they were waiting for, I don't know what they were waiting for, and people were literally dying. When Sawyer was on her way from Nigeria here, I was already on the air. I was already in with my group at Emory University Hospital. We were out living our job. Okay? Kuma Yeke, Jerry Yeke, Miara Boyman, Pastor Kennedy, Ama Moa, Kule Williams, DK, David Kaye. Avis Warner, we were in the streets, a quarter center, begging to keep our people alive. You know, one voice that really, really encouraged me during that time? Mel Jones. Ellie have to come on the air and say, if you are a minister, you are a policy maker, and you leave Liberia, forget that you have a job here, because they were leaving to leave our people. They make policies that they do not live by. When push comes to shove, they run away. Ellie have to tell them, you leave, you don't come back, you will not have a job here. Mel Jones came out on the air, and he called out to the Liberian people. And he said, the sky is not falling. Even if the sky were falling, there are still good men and women in Liberia that will hold it up. Me, I like to remember in retrospect. Mel Jones said that, and I just quoted him, unquote. The sky is not falling. Even if the sky were falling, there are still good women and men in this country that will not allow the sky to fall on Liberia. We will hold it up. That was Mel Jones. That was his voice. It still echoes today during Ebola. While we do ours, while they send helicopter in the air in Liberia, they were spraying. I don't know whatever chemical they were spraying, so people can stay alive. Women were having baby in the street. Women were dying. Pregnant women were dying in the street. You don't remember. Like most Liberians just remember today. You only remember who showed you kindness today. You only remember those in the news today. You only remember those who are in a position of power today. You only remember who is kind to you or who can give you $1 today. That's why I tell the young people, you have to think about the long haul. I'm not interested in picture. Natana McGill was what do they call it? Minister of State to George Weah. I saw him in Brussels. He came, he wanted to take picture with me. I told him I don't take picture. The only person I have picture with, I've actually posted 1 or 2 times, was Joseph Boyka. Majority, if not all of your people, I have, most of them, especially in the past government, been here to my house. They were friends to my brother. And when my brother was sick, even my brother, when I was sick and we're here visiting, they will come. My house is open to everyone. I live here. My children were born here, at least the last 2. They grew up here. I have removed. I have removed. I've been blessed. My husband, I work where he work. As long as I can remember. Because he needed. Yeah, he studied one of the hardest courses there is. Brilliant. In the house, I'm the only noise maker. I think you can see my children. I'm blessed. My children are quiet. They have their own stuff going. But I'm going to end here. We cannot progress when we're selective in ethics, in our morality. We cannot change Liberia when we're selective in what we remember and what we don't, intentionally. Hey, little bro. Hey, Randolph. We can't. And another thing that's really important, we cannot always settle because they're our friends, or we feel if they're in a position of power, we hang out with them, or they offer a little dollar here and there. That will not change the nation. We must select and elect the best among us to lead us. In that light, they're not afraid to lead because they can survive outside of the government. In that light, they can build the team bigger that all of us can survive, and then we can live. The nation that changed its status. That's what happened. Some of you who are all over on Facebook, the good thing is you can read. If you can't read, listen. Go listen to the how South Korea was built. They have a YouTube. You can read. You can listen. Okay. Park Hee. Okay. Miracle as the Hong River. Okay. Park Hon Hee. That's South Korea. You can go to Deng Xiaoping, the man what we call the father of modern China. You can go to Japan and think about the Marshall Plan after World War II, how they did construction and reconstruction. Okay? Even in America, after the Civil War, what morality they wanted to impact, what direction they wanted to take their country in. It was the turn of the century. And she's a work in process. Go to Singapore. Study Rwanda. Better y'all will play this for y'all. One more. Pray for more. What separates us and everybody else? Okay? Liberia is smaller than Singapore. How in heaven has nothing? How in heaven that Singapore got over 800 billion in GDP? That we can't even do 1 billion. It has to do with the quality of leaders that we choose. It has to do with the things that we invest in, the things that are important to us. Lord, let me tell you something. Your quality of life, your country GDP, is directly correlated to your education standard in your country. It does. Sweden, Namibia, even the Ghana next door. I got a lot of Ghanaian math teachers that they hired a couple of years ago out of Ghana to come and teach in Gwinnett County. They just have to take the test. And they come, the school pay the fee. They got 1 year to pass and get a license while they get paid. You guys from Liberian doctor who comes from Liberia, I'm not talking about today. Like Wilhelmina Jala, who they made minister. Wilhelmina Jala, where you could not pass. She was doing nurses' aid. That every time people go to a hospital, they die. And another thing is, how can you be the head of the hospital and run the hospital? You can't. You see in America, doctors don't have a hospital. They work in hospital. They're contractors at hospital. They can't have pharmacy. Pharmacies are owned by people who are into business for some pharmaceutical purposes. That's a conflict of interest. No, y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all don't want to hear a logical person. Y'all don't. Y'all just want all of us to get in a more wrestle, rumble, and call it a day. I'm not your kind. I'm not your type. I'm not on your level. I'm my own person. We're all different. But you know what we have in common? We have Liberia in common. We have humanity in common. You have a president who don't think before he speaks. He divides. He's disrespectful. Then when you try, you say, oh, the old man. The old man, where you point? Where you point? He old and he making decision that hurting my people. He making decision that's hurting me. He making decision that jeopardizing the life and livelihood of my family. So much that way. How in heaven do you support butt naked and call him UP a general? But you get, because somebody says somebody ask stupid question, or the question they're asking them, maybe they're stupid. How is that? But you're supporting a man who confessed. He opened the back of children. Who children were that? Let's think about it. Who cares? What country the children came from? That he was studying in the chair that they were bringing them. And when they bring them, this is not one day, now 2 times, 20,000 of them. Can you open their back and take out their heart and feast on them? That's your hero. But you have the nerve to call somebody because they say somebody's stupid. What's wrong with y'all? I want to say all on the psychology in our country, but I'm going to end up and I'm going to call it a day. Okay? You don't make sense to me. You do not make sense to me. And because you don't, I'm just going to say what I'm saying. Okay? So here it is. My time here is over. I will call it a day. Okay. Next week, we're going to be talking about what is happening in Liberia. But like I said, none of you have morals. Let me add this up. I am not a fan of, I'm not a fan of, what's his name? Koga. But I'm definitely not a fan of Jeremiah Kun. Jeremiah Kun doing the elections, he dismissed us as women. He's supported as a what do you call it? A vice president of Liberia. He supported Mr. Koga as Koga dismissed Liberian women that we didn't qualify to be in leadership. That certain position women cannot do it. Tanzania has a woman. The greatest modern democracy on earth have women running for it. The vice president was a woman. Rwanda, majority of the cabinet, they're women. And they prosper. Let me tell you, well, I'm in a more country that have women president. Mexico just raised their GDP under a woman leadership. Margaret Thatcher, the Great of England, broke that barrier. But you look at us, no, and say we belong in the kitchen. We belong on our back. Okay? We cannot lead. And Jeremiah Kun stood. I remember when you called Sis Edith. I told that woman to sit down with authority and disdain. You didn't have no outrage because he was the right spokesperson for y'all. Okay? Argentina has a woman president. Barbados has a woman president. Brazil has a woman prime minister or prime president. Okay, Chile, Costa Rica, Finland. No, these are all. These are all. They're not today. Let me say 2025. Let me put 2025. Yeah, well, I can be doing research while I'm doing there, guys. I want to give you a raw, real-time number. But these are places where women have led. Okay, so let's do 2025. Let's see. I just want to give you the message and then I will leave. Okay, so we got here Mexico. I just talked about that. We have what? Where is it? Tanzania. Okay. You have Namibia. Which other country is this? Iceland. Tunisia. Where's the Tobago? Okay. Go ahead and name it. Here they are. Line up here. All these places have women. All these places have women. But no. And so long it worked for Jeremiah Kun. But let me bring this to all of you Nima Kante people. Nima men, y'all got no balls. And I'm sorry. Let me apologize before I say that. Okay? I'm not saying that. Jeremiah Kun is telling y'all tired, you're in Nima Kante to say, because they're going to get okay? Jeremiah Kun said, I don't know what he's depending on. My cousin is on here, so I got to be respectful. Okay, that's not the way that was direct interpretation, and we needed to say it the other way. Based on our culture, where your mother is from is where you are not from. Those that where your mother is from, the people there are your uncles. Where your father is from, are where you're from. Jeremiah Kun is from Ground Crew. He cannot come to our county and try to tie the hands and try to lead us by our nose and challenge everything. I told y'all before when Jeremiah Kun was saying that craziness, when y'all were all over the place, and I don't care what y'all think, okay? And saying, oh, and Nima, one Nima agenda. It was not one Nima agenda. That was Jeremiah Kun's agenda. That was Jeremiah Kun's agenda. No one Nima agenda. It was Jeremiah Kun's agenda. Okay, that's what it is. So everybody can come and he can tell us who can work in Liberia, who can live, run our children out, like he ran out Micah Dami. Okay, Micah Dami was ran out of the country after he used the ball building. Okay, y'all have Prophet Keys talk about it. He used the ball building, time for him to pay. He didn't want to pay. The only reason later on he wanted to pay him when he wanted to be president. Just as he used the money when he was part of Ways and Means. He and Thomas Aladdin, they stole the money and they built a hospital in their name, in his mother's name. Okay. Then when Liberian people started asking, he said he turned it over to the government. He turned it over to the government. So let me first apologize. What I said, that's not the way I meant to say, but I meant to say what I said later, which is Jeremiah Kun is from Grand Crew. Because he the one telling us where we belong. Okay. Koga is from Nima Kante. Both your ma and pa from Nima Kante. Jeremiah Kun pa from Grand Crew. He needs to go there. Okay. Since he knows the tradition, I'm just telling the tradition. That's what the tradition say. Okay. So I'm just being honest with y'all. I'm not holding my tongue. You may not like me. They may want to come and do whatever they want to do when I go to Liberia, but that's their problem. They can deal with it. Like I say, I'm not afraid of them. I will speak my truth and I will stay with my truth. Now, that said, I am about to get off, but I want to play this video. I want to play this video and then I will tell you a good day. Here is the video. Where is my video that we're playing here? Let me play this video from this Lutheran pastor so we can all make sense of it. Why is this here? Why are you all here? Okay. And then I will say, Waka coming to Washington. And with Liberians, so long the money in it, or it's for them to, they don't care what happened. Most of us don't. We're all about ourselves. That's it. Some of us have never been about ourselves. Never been about ourselves.
America great again? America's already great.
Jesus, what was that? Little girl? Okay, I'm going to stop that. Guys, hold on. That's Liberia. I just stopped that. Let me come back with this. This something I was just doing. It just came out. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. It waited too long. And no, it's commercial. I didn't do it to just, how you call it. So let me pull it up again. Where am I? I want to play this though. It's on my mind and I want to play it. Somebody say America great again. You apologize for that. Is it still on there? Why is it not? Why am I not hearing it? Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna play this. Then I'm gonna go. I apologize, guys. I had to go pick up my daughter, so when I came, I started a little late. So
can be confronted. It can be exposed, fought, and even defeated. They had come to take him away. Locked in a prison cell, Bonhoeffer, it was stupidity. There was thinking. And then he realized the real enemy wasn't malice. It was stupidity. There were reasons he considered this a greater threat than evil, which I will now discuss. Evil, according to Bonhoeffer, can be confronted. It can be exposed, fought, and even defeated. There is always a way to resist it because at its core, evil knows what it is. Even the worst of people deep down recognize that what they are doing is wrong. This is why evil carries within itself the seed of its own destruction. It leaves behind a sense of unease, a lingering guilt that can be exploited and overturned. But stupidity? Stupidity is immune. Immune to logic, blind to reason, and deaf to truth. It does not engage, it simply refuses to see. You can argue with a malicious person, but you cannot argue with a stupid one because they do not recognize facts. They dismiss them. They do not debate. They mock. And most dangerously, they are utterly convinced of their own rightness. This is what makes stupidity more dangerous than malice. Malice can be countered, but stupidity is impervious. Martin Luther King Jr. said something very similar. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. The most terrifying aspect of stupidity is that it often operates unconsciously. People who act foolishly do not even realize it. They believe they are right. They cling to their views with such certainty that no argument, no evidence, no rational explanation can shake them. Instead of questioning their beliefs, they double down, becoming even more rigid. As Mark Twain famously said, "Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience." We have all encountered different kinds of stupid people who use dismissive slogans whenever we try to engage with them. They say things like whatever or I don't care, their way of avoiding the reality of their own stupidity. It is frustrating, much like dealing with a narcissist, because they will never change. But the danger of stupidity extends beyond the individual level. It spreads within society like a sickness. It infiltrates groups, movements, and systems that demand obedience. The power of one depends on the stupidity of the many. This is why mass stupidity so often accompanies rising authoritarianism. People do not lose their intelligence. They surrender it. They give up their independence in exchange for belonging. They stop thinking critically and start repeating whatever they are told. And once a person has surrendered their mind, there is no limit to what they can be made to do. They will commit evil and never see it as evil. They will spread lies and call it truth. They will destroy lives, convinced they are on the right side of history. This is why stupidity is not just frustrating, it is dangerous. It is a weapon in the hands of those who know how to use it. And perhaps the most chilling realization? You cannot fix it with reason. To combat it, we must first understand the true nature of stupidity. Stupidity does not question itself. It does not feel doubt or shame. It moves forward with absolute confidence, and in doing so, it becomes an unstoppable force in service of whatever it has chosen to follow. Bonhoeffer saw this firsthand. He lived in a nation once known for its poets and philosophers, Germany, the land of Goethe, Kant, and Beethoven. And yet he watched as it turned into a nation of cowards and criminals. He saw ordinary people, many of them intelligent and educated, surrender their ability to think and instead blindly follow the Nazi regime. This is why Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity is not an intellectual defect but a moral one. A person can be brilliant in thought yet utterly foolish in action. Consider Martin Heidegger, one of the greatest philosophers of the 20th century, who, despite his intellect, pledged loyalty to the Nazi Party and remained unrepentant until his death in 1976. He was smart, but he was also deeply stupid, as according to Bonhoeffer. By contrast, a person can be intellectually slow, yet profoundly wise, moral, and kind. Intelligence and wisdom are not the same. Stupidity, as Bonhoeffer saw it, is not a lack of intelligence. It is a failure of moral courage. And one is not born stupid. One becomes stupid. How that happens is what I will discuss next.
Anybody who wants to finish that, you want to listen to that, that's fine. I'm going to call it a day. So that's what stupidity is. It's a choice. Because most people, they want to belong. They are like sheep. They just want to follow. Maybe they can get their own cut. So I have said enough. I would want you to listen to your president before I leave. Okay. Where he said months ago, saying he's coming to the United States and all. Where is my stuff here? I want you to listen to this. This is President Bouaka, not too long ago. In one of the places where when Trump were talking about deporting Liberians, his particular action. Okay. Say we were sitting conveniently in the United States and we don't come home, and he thought it was funny. So now he's coming to the same people and say he wants to hear from them. This is me. Let me play this. Okay. So hopefully I can play this so you can hear. You see, you got to, as a leader, you have to be calculated. You don't speak the way you feel. You got to project the future. There we go.
You sitting now conveniently in the state or somewhere enjoying, you think you're enjoying life. I got a message for you, Donald Trump. If you don't come by to build a country for yourself, it's your business. You sitting now conveniently in the state or somewhere enjoying, you think you're enjoying life. I got a message for you, Donald Trump.
And they laugh.
If you don't come by to build a country for yourself, it's your business. You sitting now conveniently in the state or somewhere enjoying, you think you're enjoying life. I got a message for you, Donald Trump.
Right here. Right here.
If you don't come by to build a country for yourself, it's your business. You sitting now conveniently.
So that's our president of the Republic of Liberia. That said, I told you before you make decision, you assume that the person you're talking to is new in the political space or the advocacy space. We say in academia, educated people do not guess. We research, we look for facts, or we look for evidence and proof before we make decisions. And let me say to most of you, when I write, I'm not writing for the now. Like I wrote today where a girl was stabbed. I don't know where she was stabbed, whether it's Liberia or I got it. I was speaking in respect to what transpired with the young man, a 20-year-old young man with an old man. Why I do not agree with his action. I think there's a cause, there's a deeper cause. That boy looked mad. That boy looked angry. That boy looked out of, I don't know his character, but he's barely leaving his teen. That's a child. He should not even be riding motorbike. Tomorrow, I will play the video from Dr. Emmanuel Dolo, where he was talking about how these people were targeting, and this is during the first UP time, targeting young people, young men, collecting them, throwing them in jail, and then abusing them. And when they come out, they end up being abuser. But folks, Liberian people, let me tell you, this is not to brag. I come a long way trying to support you to make sure my country make the best possible decision. Okay? That's why I want to leave you with today. Here it is. When you finish, this is that. This is me. This is me, 2014. When the Ebola has spread out and Liberia could not get help, and the president was finding her way out of the country. I mean, into the country because she was not in the country.
With the Ebola virus, I think to be one of the hardest hit countries with the Ebola virus. I think one of you were telling me earlier over almost 1,000 victims. What we're learning is that Liberia has over 2,000 hit at this point. We have CDC that just landed in Liberia to help out, but the Monrovia that is really hit is very congested. We have population is 4 million, and we have a third of the population living in Monrovia. So it makes it very difficult. And people say have cultural belief who believe that this is a witchcraft, whereas it's not. What I believe is it's time for us to return to Bethel. It's time for the Liberian people to return to Bethel because we experienced 14 years of war. We prayed and we fasted and we prayed, and God came to our rescue.
You know what? I wanted to say something because on this particular video, that's me talking. Okay, let me say something to y'all. And that particular day, because they called us abruptly, it was just the Lord speaking to my heart. God is telling us to return to Bethel. Do you people know where Bethel is? In the Bible, send your Bible believing people, the pastor on here. God was speaking to me that day. He's asking us to return to Bethel because we have 14 years of war. We did everything we did, and we were more cruel, more divisive, more lying, okay, more corrupt than we were before the war. And I was just, 11 years ago, I was not even this old, not this mature. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm just reminding myself, I'm actually listening. I have the whole video here. Okay, it's on the CD upstairs. That's what I'm looking at. Can you imagine that? Folks, I'm going to finish that and I'm going to go. I just want you to see that. Wow. God is good. And I'm going to continue to be his worker.
We promised that we will stay in God's confines, but I think we're worse than we've been before. Now that we're here, we need to get help for the people. We're first generation Americans, second generation Americans, we're Liberians, and there are a lot of us here. We're your neighbors, we're your Christian brothers and sisters, we're your co-workers. Yes. So we're asking, and we'll also say thank you to Dr. Brinkley and Mrs. Nancy Wright-Boer for their sacrifice. You know, we're supposed to be our brothers.
So now let me ask you, Liberian people who open your mouth on me. How many times must I beg for y'all? How many times should I put myself on the line for you? For you to continue to elect the same people, then some of y'all stay in people inbox until they're supposed to do something. How many times? Okay? Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. I spent consecutively since 2014, non-stop, but beforehand, because you didn't see me, it's just coming to me now. Okay? And you want me to sing praises and join you to continue to make the same decision, to take us to where we've been. And I tell you, heaven know, God said knows my heart. Okay? Let's play this. I just wanted to bring that. I am sorry, folks. I must go ahead and do this.
People. One may say that, or Liberia is part, it's not. No, Liberia is in your backyard. Liberia is 8 hours of plane ride away.
Yes.
You have people doing business in Liberia who fly on the flight in the morning and come back home the next day. So they're your neighbors also.
Absolutely. And it's important to note that, because I think when individuals sit in Atlanta or Atlanta metropolitan, they say, well, Africa is a continent that's thousands of miles away.
The data report told us. Bring that.